everybody. It's your man James with Sequence Treasures back again with some more video action for you. Today is another one of our little strolls into the past as we check out some back issue action here, and we find out why it's great. My big show I do on here that you guys seem to really be enjoying. I've noticed some of the past ones we're getting some serious views. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for helping me to help make this a successful thing. And we're going to get into another one today. Again, keeping in with the theme of the month. Of course, it is October, so of course that means it is the horror month. So of course, I'll always be a little bit of tinge of horror in whatever books I'm showing you, as the last couple have shown. And this one is no exception. So we're going to get on that here in a second. Before we hit our book, let me just say I want to thank you all for joining me today. And make sure to hit that like button down there. If you like what you hear here, give a like, help out the algorithm, because we really appreciate that. That's helping us get the success that we're seeing. Also, if you have any comments, drop them down below. I want to hear what you folks got to say. You know, I'm giving you my thoughts on this book, but maybe you got some. Maybe you have a perspective I hadn't thought about. So I want to hear about it. So drop it down there and let me hear about it. And also, be sure to make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any of the content that I'm putting out around here right now. So because you don't want to miss any of this good stuff. And if you have subscribed, please share out some links so others can come in and join us, and we can grow the base even further, because that's always the goal in the end, is to get more and more. So I appreciate all the support you guys have been giving for this venture so far, and I hope you will keep doing that so you can keep seeing more great stuff like this. But now let's get into our book. And today I chose one that's it does has a horror tinge, but not in the way you expect. And so it's going to be kind of a fun one here. This is Iron Man number 220 from 1987. And this is a classic story. It's a part two of a three-parter, but I thought it was the best part of the story. And you'll see some stuff in here that shows you why I've chosen it for this month. So let's go ahead and get things going here. First thing we do is we get me off the screen, because we don't need me. And then we go and we share our book. And there we are, Iron Man number 220. It's great fun cover here with the characters of the Ghost and Spy Master. I love the dialogue on the cover here. If Tony Stark lives long enough to put on his armor, Spy Master and the Ghost are going to eat iron. I love that. Just the bravado of the 80s, folks. You gotta love it. I always have and I always will. But I really like the design on the cover here. We're gonna big it up a little bit here, and you can see the Ghost coming through the wall behind Stark, Spy Master in front with a gun, Stark looking defiant. It's a really great image here by Mark Bright and Bob Layton. The late Mark Bright, who just passed away very recently. I was very upset by that, because to me, him and Layton will always be the Iron Man artists. They were the crew on the book when I first got into it, and so I will always associate Mark Bright with Iron Man more than anything. But yeah, this is just a very intense cover. Even though you don't see Tony Stark in the armor, the jeopardy he's in here, the danger, it's all right there. It screams superhero. But let's get on into the story now. And this is where we open up with our story, with a little nursery rhyme, and then Jim Rhodes coming in, finding Tony Stark slumped out on his couch here in the armor. You can see this is by Dave Michelinie and Mark Bright and Bob Layton. Again, the classic Iron Man team. These guys did probably some of the best Iron Man stuff ever. I love the Zipatone on the armor here. Again, to me, Zipatone is awesome, because nothing says comics more to me than Zipatone. That's like, the key. One of the keys for comics is when you see that zip. But I just love this image here. Just him in the armor slumped on the couch like that. Just kind of an interesting image. And just truth in advertising here, the Silver Centurion armor is my favorite Iron Man armor. I love this design. I thought it was awesome. It looks like a walking tank. It's a pretty awesome image. So great way to set the issue off, and just bang right in your face with just the armor right there. Great shot. So Rhodey comes up and he tries to wake him up, and then he's about ready to blast him, and he goes, "Oh, Rhodey," and he goes, "Yeah, you want to point that repulsor somewhere else, before you maybe have to clean my pants here." And he's like, just he was sleeping, and he goes, "In your armor? These days it's the only place I feel safe." And we get, so why does he feel this way? Why is Stark hiding in his armor of all things? Well, we get that nice little recap here. Is He had bought a small-time company called Accutech Research in the previous issue, who were trying to develop this particle generator you see right here. And they've been unfortunately, what he didn't realize at the time is the company was under assault by a character called the Ghost, who's an industrial saboteur. And he goes and then, as he says here, the Ghost, a corporate gremlin thought by most to be nothing but a myth. As Iron Man, I was able to stop the Ghost's final bit of sabotage, but he swore to get revenge by killing Iron Man's employer, me. So that's why he's now sleeping in his armor, because he doesn't feel safe anywhere, because this ghost has the ability to be invisible. He can phase through solid objects, so he could show up at any time, any place. You never know where he's going to be, and so Stark feels completely vulnerable, except when he's in his armor. So I like that. It shows you that Tony Stark, he may be a hero, but he's still human. He's not someone who's like, totally fearless. I'll jump into the fray and not even give any concern about the consequences. No, he's very much, someone who's not going to, take unnecessary risks if he doesn't have to. And so, he goes, I couldn't sleep. Every little creak or rattle woke me up. So when I finally had a chance to get some snooze, my arm was the only place I felt moderately secure. And so he's hoping that that they can figure out a way to prevent him from having to do this. Meanwhile, we cut over to Roxxon Oil, who was another buyer for the Accutech company, but they were beaten out by Stark. And here we learn that they are the ones who are behind the Ghost. They had hired the Ghost to sabotage Accutech so that the Accutech would fall in price and they could scoop it up for a steal. But now, he says, you get to see here, this ghost fellow has failed to complete his assigned task to destroy Accutech so that we may more easily obtain the beta device they refuse to sell us. Moreover, he has diverged from his original course and has made threats on the life of one of our competitors, Anthony Stark. Under other circumstances, having Stark out of the way would be desirable, but to have an operative go renegade to pursue some personal vendetta, well, that could prove embarrassing. So now, their plans have all backfired. The guy is going rogue. They no longer want anything to do with him, so they go and contact him. And, they tell him, Carrying Pax here, I'm afraid we have received some disturbing news. It seems you've been acting rather unprofessionally of late. Therefore, we have no choice but to terminate your contract. And then he goes, he goes tell him he's not going to quit. And he goes, let's be civilized about this, shall we? I guarantee you'll still receive the full fee agreed upon. And then this is when the Ghost kind of gives you the real reason for why he does what he does. You get his true motivations here. I don't give a hang about money. I do this for free if fools like you didn't pay me such ridiculous sums. The work is what's important, the destruction. And if you get in my way, Pax, the next destruction could be yours. And then it's like, now, I believe it's time to deploy our alternative operative. So now, things are just escalating. As you can see, it's getting worse and worse. The Ghost has gone rogue. He's now doing things that the people who hired him don't want. He's now threatening them as well. So now they're going to take even more stronger measures. Meanwhile, as the days fade, we see a great scene here with Tony Stark in the lab working on the armor. And it says here he's spent several days in the sub basement, trying to work on the crucial transfer links he hopes will make the beta generator possible. And then all while in his spare time, he increases the efficiency of the armor in its defense modes. Again, probably in anticipation of the Ghost attacking. It is a dedication that borders on obsession and does not go unnoticed. And so, Rhodey notices this. He says how, he's never seen him so driven, and it gives, and he's how he's having to give passwords so he can come and see him. He goes, he even got me packing a piece again. Truth to tell, it feels kind of comfortable, but why is he going to such extremes? What kind of demon is this Ghost character that he can scare even an Iron Man? And so we kind of see that the threat level that this Ghost is he's causing so many things to change in here. He's causing Tony Stark to not behave in a way that the man closest to him recognizes. He sees the fear in his eyes. He sees the way he's acting, his obsessiveness in trying to keep himself protected. It's so it really, I said, it really ratchets up the tension as it goes along. You've seen all this stuff is slowly building. So they go to get some food. he says, how about bringing some burgers down? And he goes, certainly shall I have Mr. Stark sent to his living quarters. He goes, huh? Why? Well, I just saw him go in his private elevator. Now we all see Tony Stark is down here in the sub basement. So, what's this? Uh, Hat the Ghost has to be impersonating me to get past security. Don't know why, since he can turn invisible, but this couldn't happen at a worse time. My Iron Man armor is disassembled. It'll take at least a half hour to get it functional again. And so he tells Rhodey to go get the old red and gold armor and put it on. He goes, we ask him where is it? He goes, it's in the hangar. He goes, go, give me your gun. He goes, you get in the suit. Get in the suit and meet me at my at his living quarters. And he goes, and you see Rhodey is like a little shaken by this, and he tells him make it fast. So you can see the decisiveness. He went from being fearful and obsessive about his protection, and now he's totally driven the other way now. He's now focused on, I'm going to get this guy. So we go up. We see here's Tony in the quarters. You see, while at that moment, so while he's down there, all of a sudden, while that moment, and here's Tony here. So what's going on? But then the Ghost shows up. What's happening here? This is insane. We thought the Ghost was pretending to be Stark, but he's not. And so he comes in. He goes, I've been waiting patiently for this, Stark, for the time when you'd be alone, when my triumph could be savored in private. And that moment is now. And so he pulls out a weapon and blasts him. He thinks it's over. All that remains is the final satisfaction of viewing the death grimace on your cowardly face. And but that doesn't look like a death grimace of fear to me. Does it to you? And he goes, would you settle for a rakish grin, spook? And he gets nailed. And it's an energy siphon, so the Ghost cannot activate any of his technological tricks that he uses. And it turns out, well, of course, it wasn't Tony Stark, it was Spy Master. The Spy Master is the one who snuck into Stark's office. And just as he's about ready to do the Ghost in, the real Tony Stark shows up. And Spy Master kind of lays it down here. Stark, take a hike, big shot. There's nothing you can do here. That Beretta don't mean beans to my Kevlar costume. And while ain't no percentages in doing freebies, I'll kill you if I have to. Beat it. And so now Tony is stuck. He's thinking, what can I do? I don't have my armor. I could never be a match for Spy Master. And he goes, the Ghost has made his life miserable. Maybe I shouldn't even bother to stop him. And then he goes, and here's Spy Master about to do just that. I guess a wise man would do the wise thing. And then, he seems a bit surprised leaving. He's smarter than I thought. So he gets ready to take the Ghost out, telling him, let's see, I hear you got a lot of tricks. How about performing one more of, bending over and kissing yourself goodbye? And right before the shot comes, there you go, Tony going off, blasting away. And he goes, you're a fool, Stark. And he goes, I couldn't let Hitler waste Attila the Hun if there was some way I could stop it, Spy Master. I may be a fool, but at least I'm a fool who can live with himself. And then of course, some classic machismo here. Buddy, in about 4 seconds, you ain't going to be living at all. And he starts firing these little discs at him. And he tells him that these razor discs have actually nicked his Iron Man armor in the past. So if they touch Tony without the armor, you can imagine the danger he's in. And so now it's Stark versus Spy Master, with Stark without his armor. Meanwhile, the Ghost is, looking for a way to free himself from the power drain, and he thinks he's found it. And as they battle on, and again, I just love the action here. The distract him. You can see how great a shot Tony is, all that kind of stuff. I love that. And then it goes these power cable feeds, to start to control the systems. They carry enormous electricity. I just hope it's enough to, to overload the device that's preventing him from using his abilities. Meanwhile, Tony is just dodging and ducking as much as he can. His gun is of no danger to Spy Master. Meanwhile, the Ghost says, a prudent retreat would seem well-advised strategy. So he takes off and leaves Tony there. He goes, finds out he's out of ammo. He goes, guess all you have left to do is die, buddy boy. You and the Ghost. And so he sees the Ghost is gone. And so now he's getting ticked but of course, Spy Master being the Spy Master, he had a tracking device inside of that energy siphon. So he uses it to track him. Tells, I'll kill you some other time. I got other more important things to do. Meanwhile, Tony's wondering, where's Rhodey? I sent him to go get the other armor and put it on and meet me. Where's he at? And then we see that he's inside of the hangar where the armor was, and we can see here he is looking at it, but you can see he's very hesitant to put it on because a few issues earlier he had been inside this armor and it caught fire, and you can see here it injured him. And Doc calls it phantom pain. Kind of ironic under the circumstances, but even though the burns have scarred over completely, I can still feel them from the last time I wore this armor when I was trapped inside. Got to snap out of it. I faced the Kong and Nam, just a hammer as a civilian, and even worse as Iron Man. So why am I sweating now? Got to put the armor on. Got to help Tony. In just a minute. So you can see, Rhodey is torn. He wants to help Tony, but he's got this now mental block from when he was trapped inside the armor and it was burning him. And now he's afraid, of that happening again. And so again, so you can see here how fear is playing such a big piece in this whole entire story, both for Rhodey, both for Tony, and now even for the Ghost who's on the run from Spy Master. Fear everywhere. And I really like, again, it shows you that these guys are human. They're not just, indestructible heroes who can just weather whatever without any consequences. They show you this, and this is like just a great moment here, a great character moment with Jim Rhodes. This is what Michelini did so well in the book during this period, was having these great character moments even when there's action involved. So the Ghost is trying to escape still, and Spy Master catches him. And so the Ghost tries to threaten, to kill somebody if he doesn't let him go. Of course, Spy Master doesn't care. You're ruthless, Spy Master. I respect that, but you'll still lose. He goes, I'll just turn invisible, and then, still shooting my direction? I don't need to see you to scrag you, Ace. I can track you anywhere. And so, so now the Ghost is really up against it because he knows now that there's nothing, that his tricks aren't going to work the way they worked so well in the past. So Tony comes down just as Spy Master is leaving the bathroom to go after the Ghost, and then Rhodey shows up with the red and gold armor, and just in time barely saves himself with it by sticking the case in front of him. The Spy Master takes off after the Ghost, and then Rhodey tells him he's okay. The armor took the brunt. And he goes, "Why aren't you in the armor?" "I'm sorry, Chief. I couldn't do it. There's too much history between me and the suit. I guess it's up to you." And he goes, "But I swore I'd never put the old armor on. It symbolizes a dark part of my life, a part that's over. That it symbolizes the past. And let me put it this way, Chief. How do you feel about making it to the future?" Just great character moments between these two. This is what you always loved about these guys. Is like there's a true, like, almost like they're brothers. Brothers in arms. And this really exemplifies. Again, they both have reservations about the old armor. Rhodey from being injured while in it, Tony because he became a drunkard while he was in it, and so they both have their reasons to not want to deal with it. Meanwhile, the Ghost and the Spy Master, it looks like it's finally coming to a head. And he tells him that's how he found him. He goes, "I coated that energy siphon with a radioactive trace element. That's how I was able to track you." He goes, "Think about that in the seconds you have left." And then all of a sudden, of course, Tony puts the armor on. He goes, "This armor is at cutting edge of technology. But after my red and silver suit, it feels like I've gone from a custom Ferrari to a '57 DeSoto." It's kind of awesome. Kind of awesome how again, just the way he thinks about it. The technology side of it. This is cutting edge technology, but it's just for him, it's beneath what he's even used to anymore. He's so far ahead. I just like that. It was kind of a little fun view from inside the mind of Tony Stark. So he tries to get the situation under control, get people back, and then Spy Master figures it's probably time for me to take a powder. He goes because the costume is damaged, but you could probably do more than that. And some of my weapons may be damaged. I don't know if I can. And then that's when the Ghost shows up. He gives him this little device to help give him the phasing powers that the Ghost's own suit has. And he goes, hey, this is great. I gotta get one of these gizmos myself, but why the heck are you saving me? Dear fellow, I'm afraid you misinterpret my intentions. I'm not saving you, I am killing you. He goes, no, no, don't take that away. I'm still in the wall. And then the scream, Iron Man comes busting in and he sees, there it is, Spymaster is dead. Dead. The destructive impact of rematerializing in a solid wall was too much shock for him. The ghost killed him after I stopped him from killing the ghost. And then he figures, hey, maybe I can still use what Spymaster did to track the ghost, but because I might have known it's been crushed. There's no way to find a message printing on that long range communications monitor. And then we see a little message from the ghost. You shouldn't have let Stark save my life. That was stupid and humiliating. Now I'm really mad. And so he goes, there it is. He knows it's it did nothing. It was, saving the ghost's life didn't enamor him to say, well, I should back off or anything. He's now even more determined to get Tony Stark. And he goes, and he goes and tells Rhodey to check the screen. He goes, I guess you know he's going to come. He's coming after you. He won't have to. Oh, yeah? Why not? Because, my friend, I am going after him. And just that great shot there, even with the armor on, you can just see the determination. He's made the decision. He's gonna take the ghost out. I love this story because you got to see a side of Tony Stark you didn't normally see. His more concerned side, his more like side of fear, as well as being driven. You don't really see that. We're used to like the Tony from like the movies. The guy who's thinks he's got the world by the short hairs. I'm the man. The confidence, the swagger. You didn't see any of that in this issue. And this issue was very much the opposite, and that's why I liked it. Even though he has the armor, he's still just a man, and he has the same foibles, the same fears we all do. And so when there's a threat that seems like it's almost insurmountable, he's going to have to deal with that in a way any of us would. And I liked how they presented this to us. Michelini did a great job with this, showing you the human side to Tony Stark. And I like that he even made some time for some character development with Jim Rhodes, with his experience of being in the armor when he was trapped in it, getting burned alive in it. That was, again, something that happened several issues before this, but it still affects the story even now. So it's not like today where like so many things happen in a book and they just kind of brush it aside. It's no big deal. Who cares? But this was a really great story. You saw lots of action in there, lots of intrigue, lots of great, character moments. This is the kind of stuff you want to see. And again, just the art. I mean, the armor, Bob Layton's inking on Bright. I mean, no one could get the sheen on that armor the way Layton always has. I mean, there's like Iron Man before Layton, and then there's Iron Man after Layton. And everyone since Layton has been trying to do exactly what he does again. Here's the classic zip, that great use of Zipatone right here on the armor. I love that stuff. And just Mark Bright's pencils. I mean, just very powerful. I mean, look at the way he displays the action. Just great stuff, great figure work, a great eye for camera angles. That's what I always thought was great about Mark Bright. He always knew how to get just the right camera angle. Like the shot here of Iron Man swooping in, just perfect image. The hero, here I come. Here I come to save the day. You can almost hear it as he's flying in there. But like it's the great stuff. Like this right here. This to me is like what made the story so good, was moments just like this one. This is just where you get to really know the characters. And this is like something that's very much missing in modern comics. You don't really see moments like this in the modern comics. And that's a sad thing, but yeah, I really love this issue. Lots of action, lots of suspense. Tony Stark right here putting himself on the line because his conscience won't let him be any. As scared as he is, as fearful he is, as much as he knows the ghost is a threat to his own life, he can't just sit by and watch somebody be murdered. That shows the heroism. This is the true heroism of Iron Man right here. Even without the armor, he's not going to just stand by and let something go down that he knows shouldn't go down. even if it's to his benefit. And that's like I said, it's a great. Again, this is what makes him the hero that he is. But like I said, we get that image right here. I mean, I just love that. It's kind of funny because here it is. This is during the period of the Silver Centurion armor, and the Silver Centurion armor didn't really play much of a part in this issue, and yet it's so chock full of just great character development and great, dramatic scenes and stuff like that. It's beautifully told. Like I said, these three guys, Michelini, Bright, and Layton, they are, in my estimation, the greatest Iron Man team ever. And so, you would not be hard pressed or wrong to want to pick up a copy of this book of Iron Man number 220. Like I said, it's part 2 of a 3-part story with the Ghost. But as you saw, in this one they kind of recap the first issue, so, which I always appreciated. I always like this kind of stuff right here when they recap a story for somebody. So like if you hadn't been reading the book, religiously, you can get caught up to speed very quickly and not miss a beat as the story goes on. And so I really love that. So it just does a great story, great action, great adventure, and some great character moments for both Tony Stark and Jim Rhodes. So definitely check it out. Iron Man number 220. A cover that has Iron Man not even in the Iron Man armor, and yet it's very impactful, very dramatic, and again, just everything you look for in superhero comics. So definitely check that one out. Iron Man 220. It shouldn't be an expensive book. $5 to $8 to get a copy of this. And I'd say just get the whole story, 219 through 221. Shouldn't be about $20 to get all 3 parts. And again, it's just a great story with this Ghost character, who I always thought was very interesting. You learn in here that he just has this thing about destroying corporations, whoever they are. He doesn't do it for the money. He doesn't do it for fame. He does it because it's what he wants. And just it's a very interesting aspect to this character. And so I definitely can't recommend strong enough Iron Man 220. The Michelini, Bright, Layton run in general is just probably one of the best, high watermarks of the character. So definitely check this one out. It's one I think anybody could enjoy, and I know I certainly did. So there we are, Iron Man number 220. So there you go. We got so far we've had zombies, we've had aliens from space, and now we got a ghost. So what's going to be the next one for the Halloween theme? I don't know yet. We're going to figure out what to pick. I'm going to go through my trove and see what I can find for you guys. But I hope you've been enjoying these. I've really been enjoying this with the Halloween theme in there. So I want to thank you all for joining me today. And again, please be sure to drop a like if you like what you saw, and also drop any comments you have, because I want to hear what you got to say. Did you think this issue was pretty good? What did you think about the great character moments that we saw with Rhodey and Tony in this? Do you think that really made the story work well, or do you think it was just wasted time in between the awesome action? So let me know what you guys think, and I will be back soon with some more stuff. And until next time, take care.